Hello everyone and welcome to another Fowl Original with the snowman there. Very sad, beautiful movie from my childhood. Yeah, Honza. It's almost that time of year again. Time for Christmas to hit. I know it's Halloween today. We're almost free from Halloween. I was lurking in the lab one night. Tesco value. I should always be advocating co-op. I always advocate co-op. Now, that was the snowman, and I figured it would bring us nicely into this story about snowflakes. As you may have noticed, if you were watching the weekly wrestling recap earlier on, I had a full beard. I have sliced and diced my face for your amusement, and now I am naked face. Why am I naked face, you ask? Oh, I'll tell you why. Hello there, Lethal Boy. I'll tell you why. Lethal Boy, you saw me earlier on. Had a beard. It's all gone now. And as you can see, I'm doing it for this reason. I am hoping to raise money for the Movember Foundation to reduce the rate of male suicide by 25% by the year 2030. It's all about talking about your feelings and not suffering in silence. It's Movember Foundation, and I've got my first donation. £10. Thank you very much. And yes, I will look very different clean shaven because now I am clean shaven. And if you want to see that link, you can check it out on fowloriginal.com and on my Twitter and a few other places. And I'll hopefully start putting it in the link in the description. Exactly. There's nothing here now. There's nothing here. It hurts so much. It hurts so goddamn much. Anyway, let's talk about the news. So, Waitrose food, vegans aren't snowflakes. This is our top story because it involves the word snowflakes. And you know I like cornflakes, so just one step up. Let's check something actually. Every now and then, obviously, I've got my bag here. Now, I've had a very busy day today. I meant to get a haircut. Didn't get a chance to get a haircut because I'm running about. I think I left my Metro at work, so yeah, no Metro moments tonight. It's been a very busy night. I had the wrestling stuff. I'm talking about Crown Jewel and everything, but yeah. So this vegans aren't snowflakes. Let's take it to the story. Freelancer says vegans are not snowflakes. The journalist who was sent an email by the editor of Waitrose Food magazine suggesting she write about killing vegans has hit back. Celine Nelson said vegans were not snowflakes, but were people trying to live in a moral way. She said those who argued that William Sitwell, who has since resigned, was only joking, were missing the point. The real issue, she said, why it's acceptable or considered funny to speak to vegans with hostility and anger. Sitwell, also a critic on MasterChef, has apologised for any offence caused by an ill-judged joke. He said he loved and respected people of all appetites, be they vegan, vegetarian or meat eaters. I love and respect people of all sexual orientations and gender identification. Whatever you are. Yes. And whatever you like to eat. Just keep it in your bedroom. Vegans eat a plant-based diet, meaning they avoid all animal products such as meat, dairy, eggs and honey, and refuse to use materials derived from animals like leather. Ms. Nelson had pitched ideas to Sitwell on healthy, eco-friendly meals as the popularity of the movement is likely to continue to skyrocket. To be honest with you, yeah, a vegan meal is a healthy meal, and so I should be eating vegan stuff. Anyway. Sitwell had emailed back 10 minutes later saying, thanks for this. How about a series on killing vegans one by one, ways to trap them, how to interrogate them properly, expose their hypocrisy, force feed them meat. Writing for The Independent, Ms. Nelson said she couldn't comment on the precise circumstances of his departure from the magazine. His response to her was a shock and speaks to a wider problem. Vegans are often criticised for being dogmatic, militant, too extreme, or unnecessarily antagonistic, like this, she said. But if this disappointing exchange exposes anything, it's the belligerent attitude that sadly many vegans experience every day, as if they're trying to make a positive lifestyle change. Vegans are not snowflakes. Perhaps the real snowflakes, if we insist upon using this term, are those who become defensive and abusive when anyone dares question the status quo. Sitwell has received support from fellow journalists, including Guardian writer Hadley Freeman. Speaking as a vegan of several decades standing, I do not think he should have resigned, and I don't think his email should have been made public. Private apology. Case closed. The vegan has spoken. Times restaurant critic Giles Corin said, "It was a stupid email that should not be a career ender. Vegans are not a race or a gender or a sexual orientation or a differently abled group. They just choose to eat plants." But other writers have criticised him for being unprofessional, with Lauren Collins from The New Yorker tweeting that responding to a freelancer's pitch in such a way was fair grounds for being fired. So yeah, like, it's a story more about how veganism... Hello, thanks for inviting your followers. Hello there, Hank Smith, Carter Bridge. I was going to shave, but I'm going to participate in Movember. If you want to help support the channel, you can join my team and stuff. As I said, I'm looking to raise £1,000. That is to reduce male suicide. Now, like, I make fun of veganism and stuff, yeah, but it's hello there, Leroy Shephazin. It's more that the editor of Waitrose Foods sent an email to someone, a vegan, saying that you should just die, basically. And it does speak to a wider problem of veganism. And my point with this is, like, a kind of a editorial. I have seen very specifically militant behaviour from vegans. Obviously, this is a straw man argument, yeah. This is like one man's opinion of what's happening. But I've seen it, and it happens. And of course it happens. But that doesn't matter. Yeah, you can't just tar everyone with the same brush. And with veganism, a lot of people are very defensive over it. But the same token, if you say to a vegan, do you eat just plants? Oh, I had a cheeky burger the other day. That's what he was trying to speak about, the hypocrisy and stuff. Veganism at the moment seems to be a kind of cool fad, which it's getting mainstream attention, and it will continue when we start to eat more plant-based foods other than meat. But I was about to swear then, but fudge. I loves me a bacon sandwich. And I was talking about black pudding today, and I could not give up black pudding. But if I had to, Kevin Smith has become a vegan. What happened, man? You eat plants, you smoke plants. Where's your meat, man? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? But anyway, veganism, my friends. Vegans are not snowflakes. They are. It's everybody else. It's the children's fault. That's our top story, and I wanted to make that our top story because it kind of is to me. Now, I'm going to take you straight to, because today this is a bit of a quicker one because my face is on fire right now. I'm tired, got stuff to do. Thank you for joining me. In other news, today we have a few stories that I wanted to talk about because they're very uplifting stories. So, spinal implant helps 3 paralysed men walk again. 3 paralysed men who were told they would spend the rest of their lives in a wheelchair are able to walk again thanks to doctors in Switzerland. An electrical device inserted around the men's spines boosted signals from their brains to their legs. And it also helped damaged nerves in the spinal cord to regrow. That's amazing. Like, it's helping nerves regrow. God dang. The researchers hope this unexpected bonus will enable some paralysed people ultimately to regain independent movement. BBC News has exclusive access to the patients in the clinical trial. First patient to be treated, 30-year-old Swiss man David Mazie, who suffered a severe spinal injury 7 years ago in a sporting accident. However, doctor said he could walk again. However, thanks to an electrical implant developed by the team, he can walk more than half a mile with the implant turned on. And I just want to show you because, goddamn, like it's freaking magical, like. Let's show you. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely amazing. as I said, I want to just kind of take you through. That's some of the doctors, and you can see like it's giving people. Here's that guy again down. It's crazy. It's just absolutely awe in. It's awe inspiring. It's freaking like I was reading this story. Hello there, Leroy. 1 hour till no nut November. Like that story in particular really touched me today. Really touched me because it just shows that imagine if someone's been told that they couldn't walk again and they were just told like a sports injury means that you're normally a sporty person. Imagine sports injury and it's like now you can walk again. That's incredible news. But let's read the rest of the story. So hello there, Charlie Kane. As I strolled with him on a cloudless sunny day in the foothills of the Alps, he told me how the ability to walk, albeit for a short period, had changed his life. To me, it means a lot. All attempts at rehabilitation had failed, so he agreed to take part in the trial. And you can see him. David told Dr. Courteen's daughter that he would walk before her, and he did. It's just freaking magical. I came with my daughter, who was 1 month old at the time. As we approached David, he looked him in the eye and said, "I will walk before you." When Charlotte took her first steps when she was 14 months, by which time David was walking by Lake Geneva, he said to her, "I've beaten you." And it's technology, my friends. It can literally do anything. And for people that have just had spinal injuries, they begin to plan larger trials in Europe and the US in 3 years' time. If these go well, the researchers hope the system could become more widely available. So think about that. In about like 5 to 10 years, if you have a spinal injury and you're told you can't walk anymore, you could have an implant inserted into you, which sends neurological boosters down to your legs, your non-working legs, and you can start to walk again. Like, it just gives hope. It really does. It gives a lot of hope, and it's like November for me. As I said, I want to do something with this platform, albeit very small, that I have right now. I want to do something, and it's like I want to be able to say that I've tried, and just imagine not being able to walk. I take for granted that I've just like walked from the kitchen, had a chicken burger just before I got here. That's why I was a little bit late. Chicken burger, came upstairs, walked. Every time I have to walk up and down the stairs, it's really, really annoying. I remember thinking, if I forget something downstairs, if I couldn't walk, like that's it. Yeah, not having the chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is not mine. That's it. It's done. Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. Couldn't live in this place. Be bungalow and stuff like that. Like I just couldn't imagine that life. And then thinking that you like for maybe like 2 hours, maybe a month, you get to try this like super experimental transmitter, and you're able to walk and do like something that we all really take for granted. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, something else that's obviously quite crazy. I've kind of taken the show straight down. Something else that's pretty crazy is me, Fowl Original. If you go to fowloriginal.com, you can go ahead and see my big old bird face. When you see my big old bird face, you can go ahead and click support the channel. You click support the channel, it'll take you down to 2 options. You can either click donate or become a Patreon. If you click the donate button, it will take you to a PayPal donation page. Very slowly. You go ahead then and say give $5. Make this a monthly donation to help support my content on the regs. That's Fowl Originals Wrestling, Fowl Original Newsround, and all the other bits and bobs that I do on Instagram and stuff. And of course, this month, I would please urge you to check out my Movember campaign, where I'm looking to raise £1,000 for Movember Foundation to reduce the rate of male suicide by 25% by 2030. Please, it's that one's not for me. That one is actually charity. And charity begins at home. Homo. The world's always advancing more and more. Like the simple things now, like a headache would have killed people 500 years ago, and within the next 500, a serious spinal injury would be easy. Exactly. Just walk into like a Boots walk-in. You will literally walk into the walk-in clinic or hobble into the walk-in clinic, and then they'll just go, "Oh yeah, cool. Just have 2 of those, and I'm just gonna quickly just shoot something into your hip. Oh yeah, you're fine. Take time walking out. Here's the bill. That'll set you back on your ass." Yes. So that's that story. Let's see what else I have for you guys today. It's a bit of a mess up show today because I've been trying to get some of the technology working, and unfortunately I had to shave as well. So I've just kind of. This is something in other news. The Dutch language besieged by English at university. Students shake off their jackets and scarves as the lecturer opens up a PowerPoint presentation on startup innovations and prepares to give his talk, which is entirely in English. The language is the university's choice. Frank van Rijshoven of Utrecht University tells me. So extensive is the spread of English in Dutch universities. A group of lecturers has perfected a looming linguicide and defended the government in The Hague imposed a moratorium banning universities from creating any additional English language courses until an official impact analysis has been conducted. 60% of master's programs offered at Utrecht University are in English. At the highest honours level, virtually no courses are taught in Dutch. I don't mind, most of the literature is in English, says Mr. Van Rijshoven. So for me, as a teacher, it's not that much of a problem because we also do research in English. The students, you see, they have to cross a certain barrier to properly express themselves. The Netherlands has one of the world's highest levels of English proficiency among non-native speaking countries, second only to Sweden, according to the latest EF English Proficiency Index. It's something I picked up over the years, mainly doing my PhD in academic English, the lecturer explains. We already have good English at high school, we watch English TV with subtitles. My English is not perfect, but it's sufficient to bring across the message at a certain level. Now, basically what this story shows is use it or lose it. Some Dutch universities have completely erased the Dutch language from the campus. Even the sandwiches in the canteens are sold as cheese rather than the Dutch word haas. And not everyone is happy with such a creeping anglicisation at university. It's our identity, Dutch. What happens to the identity of people of a country? Now, I just wanted to just say that because it's not just us, it's not just people coming over here taking our jobs. We are also sending a lot of students from England over to the Netherlands and Germany and a few other places, and the English language is becoming the more catered to language, mainly because probably 90% of the people that are paying to go to the university of your nation are actually speaking English as a first language, and they would love to learn Dutch. I'm sure they would, but if you speak to them in English, they will be a lot more happy to hold you up the monies. And that's the thing. Yeah, I look at it as this. I can drink this glass of water. Oh. I look at this as a. Oh. I look at this as something which is always going to happen. Once we send more people over there, the language is easy. And yes, when I went to Holland a few times, everyone speaks English. Everyone. There's only a very, very, very few people that do not speak any English at all, and they tend to be people that are very old, yeah, or a lot older, or very much like they want to stay away. They are Dutch, and it's like they don't speak English. Everyone else speaks English because literally everything is in English. Like on TV, as I said, they watch all of their TV in English with Dutch subtitles. So they're literally from a child aged watching TV, and it's everywhere. Everything is in English. There's only a few things. So it's always going to happen. But I thought it was a very interesting story to see something where we're exporting something better than anyone else in the world, which is the English language. This is my second last story for the night. As I said, I'm trying to keep this to half an hour these days. Essex village used in appalling Trump candidate advert. A United States congressional candidate has used a picture of a British seaside village to show what could happen if voters do not back President Trump. Help President Trump keep America on track and thriving. A vote for Foster is a vote for a Speaker Pelosi. We can't go back to foreclosures, unemployment, and economic recession. Only you can stop this from becoming reality. Congratulations, Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. I love it. It's just like, dum 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 dum, you're killing us if you don't vote for something else. And where's it from? Facebook. Fake news. Hashtag fake news. An advert used an image of Jaywick Sands near Clacton in Essex to attack Nick Stella's a Democratic opponent. The campaign picture, which showed an unpaved road and run-down homes, said, "Help President Trump keep America on track and thriving." It has received angry criticism from locals and tendering district council. Republican Dr. Stella is standing in the 11th Illinois congressional district in the US midterm elections against Bill Foster. The advert, which was shared on Dr. Stella's campaign Facebook page, showed a billboard congratulating Congress Speaker Nancy Pelosi and a message saying, "A vote for Foster is a vote for a Speaker Pelosi." Jaywick was one of the most deprived neighbourhood in England in 2010 and 2015, according to the government's deprivation index. Jaywick has undergone a £6.5 million programme of improvements. Paul Honeywood, tendering district council cabinet member with special responsibility for Jaywick, said it was appalling to use the old image political gain, and said the village was on the up. He said, "I know that many Jaywick Sands residents will be outraged at Smith. Just look at it. Let's look at the road. Like, look what is happening there." Penelope Reed, who filmed a documentary called Jaywick, Diamond in the Rough, said she was angry at the use of the village and said she would happily show Dr. Stella the real Jaywick if he visited. We have learned that it's great to know the town pictured has recovered from economic hardship. Let it serve as an example of how government responding to the needs of the people could overcome hardship. May those days remain well behind us. I'm sure Jaywick Sands is charming. Perhaps a future visit would be a great way to exchange ideas between the two areas. So, classic spin. Spun out of it. It's like, yeah, you used it. Well, I'm very happy. And that's what happens when you vote in good government to fix things. I would love to visit your charming city. Politics. Don't you just love it? And last up, we have one more in other news before I'm going to take you to my Twitter rundown. And this is, well, actually, no, I think we are in Twitter rundown now. Let me just get you into... I figured that these were... I wanted to talk about this story, and I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But first this, which is kind of related to that story, but let's take you to the Twitter rundown. So in Twitter today, Israeli ad featuring model removing a headscarf pulled after backlash. An advert for Israeli clothing line shows model Bar Raffaeli removing a headscarf and a face veil and dancing before a voiceover states, "Freedom is basic." It was removed from some social media platforms after it was met with criticism. Well, bloody hell, of course it is. And let's show you. Oh, that's just her bun. That's not. Wow. Like, just wow. That's just, I can't believe that. And look, whose freedom? Israeli niqab ad for clothing brand sparks controversy. Israeli clothing ad that sees supermodel remove a niqab, as a caption says, "Is it Iran here?" sparks fury. In a clothing ad titled "Freedom" by taking off a niqab. Bar Raffaeli, did no one tell you women in Iran don't wear niqab and that you are being used to spread misinformation? An ad for a clothing company in Israel shows Bar ripping off a niqab and headscarf, opening with a caption reading, "Is Iran here?" I'm so bored of this fake-ish about burqa wearing women being oppressed and needing freedom, with the white woman being their saviour. There are Muslim women who wear this out of choice, so stop disrespecting that freedom of choice. Might be worth mentioning that she's doing it in solidarity with women who live under mandatory hijab rules in Iran. If promoting human dignity draws widespread condemnation, then so be it. It's exactly what brave feminists in Iran are doing daily. What's wrong with taking off a symbol of patriarchal oppression? Non-Muslim women need to stop telling us Muslim women what freedom is. All this ad has achieved is incite more ignorant hate and further perpetuate this Western ideology that Muslim women are oppressed. Fire your creative directors and pull this embarrassment. All I can say to that is, like I said last night, Trump is an arbitrary. The whole thing is very interesting, that it seems as if people are trying to, like Nike did it with their, it seems as if the new way to promote a brand, especially the older brands, stuff like Nike and all of that, is to put some kind of emotional attachment behind it, in the sense of, like, it's a revolution. And Nike tried to do it. Pepsi tried to do it, and it didn't work. Nike tried to do it with Kaepernick, and it freaking killed. And so Nike did it. I think that's what this, like, who was it? What was the actual campaign for? Just didn't even say what it's for. It's a clothing ad. Is it just a clothing ad? Like, who was it in particular? Was it just as an Israeli ad? Like, it's just, it does obviously have some political connotations, like significant ones that I'm not really fully aware of, and I don't think it is. I think Bar Raffaelli is trying to say, yeah, like that's probably the underlying message, and yes, it is probably quite borderline racist, but it's just the place we live in now, isn't it? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a lot of hate. Yeah, it's a cause controversy, exactly like Israeli ad and Pepsi. Exactly. It's controversy creates cash. We learned all that from Eric Bischoff a long time ago. Wrestling, my friends. Wrestling. Speaking of wrestling, obviously the big story is that I'm going to be live streaming Crown Jewel. That's going to be interesting. There will be a lot of hate against me for that, but that's just the way we are. The journalism, my friends. Journalism. Now, also in the Twitter rundown, Falcon and Winter Soldier will star in a series for Disney streaming service. According to Variety, the two Marvel heroes would headline their own limited series. Falcon and Winter Soldier limited series in the works with Empire writer. Falcon Winter Soldier series. This is not a test. Falcon and Winter Soldier getting their own limited series. I dig it. Falcon and Winter Soldier. So how about the Winter Soldier forget Falcon? Consistent and constantly roasting. So basically, yeah, if you don't know, Falcon and Winter Soldier will have a Heroes for Hire style show on the new Disney streaming service. When is Crown Jewel? Crown Jewel will be starting on Fowl Original Wrestling at 2:30 on Friday in the afternoon. It will be starting everywhere else. We'll have some links up there, and I'll do another prep for it tomorrow. And we will also be watching, and that's live on Fowl Original Wrestling. We'll be watching it, talking about it, and I think it finishes like 6 or 7, and hopefully I can have a dude night after that as well. Very packed weekend this weekend. Now, that's also Twitter rundown, and finally in the Twitter rundown for today, Sean White says sorry for his insensitive Halloween costume. This is something that I kind of teased yesterday, but I didn't really pull the trigger. American professional snowboarder Sean White said sorry to the Special Olympics community, facing backlash for dressing up as Simple Jack, a character with a disability, played by Ben Stiller in the 2008 film Tropic Thunder. I mean, you couldn't make Tropic Thunder now. Sean White, Simple Jack Halloween costume slammed by Special Olympics, and there's Sean White as Simple Jack. Sean White is facing backlash for dressing up as Simple Jack, the intellectually disabled character from Tropic Thunder for Halloween. We are truly disappointed that Sean White, an acclaimed Olympian, would choose this costume, which is so offensive and causes so much fame. After posting a photo of his costume over the weekend, Olympic snowboarder Sean White immediately faced the backlash on social media. He since deleted the photo and issued an apology. I owe everyone in the Special Olympics community an apology for my poor choice of Halloween costume the other night. It was a last-minute decision. It was the wrong one. Special Olympics were right to call me out on it. They do great work supporting so many tremendous athletes, and I'm sorry for being insensitive. A lesson learned. And I feel like this apology should be addressed to a larger group than just those who called you out. Try actually considering who is affected by your choice and how. Thanks, management. That's why. And I can't wait for the Falcon Winter Soldier show either. But our top story of today was Waitrose food, vegans aren't snowflakes. Now, as I said, I wanted to keep this show to the half an hour, and it looks like I've done that today again. I have loads of stuff tomorrow. I'm probably going to be talking about Sinead O'Connor. I believe that I'm going to be talking about Sinead O'Connor and her journey to Islam. So join me for that tomorrow. We're also going to be on Friday talking about more Islam. It's going to be WWE Crown Jewel happening live on Fowl Original Wrestling channel. If you want to help support the channel, as ever, please go to, first of all, let's do this properly. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors, which I haven't done properly for a while on here over this side. Gameonic. Gameonic are a gaming and gaming inspired clothing brand who create accessories, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, clothing, hoodies, and they've got loads of designs here. This is a really cool one. They've got Tech Guide Trivia, who's one of the guys who's part of the part of the team Gamonic, which I am happily a part of, and I want to get some of my stuff up on there, which I'm going to be asking the Gamonic team to get for me. And you'll be able to buy my merch through their store, which will be absolutely fantastic. We're sponsored by them, and I love it. And I love this t-shirt, for example, the combat poster. Ugh, so good. Guaranteed fatality. And they've got really, really good clothing, and like, I really like it. I actually, that's what I mean. I always said that I would only support something that I actually liked, and I'm very lucky to get in touch with the sponsor that does that. Don't really care. 10 years ago, people would dress as Jimmy Savile and Bin Laden. Ron Lowe, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. Now, I'm gonna end this with, as ever, a way to get myself copyright struck. Today's way to get myself copyright struck is, I've probably already done it, but hopefully, there we go. I know that it isn't yet, and I know that it's a long way away, yeah. And maybe I am being a little bit early on it, but I don't care. It is the end of, actually no, you know what? I got something better. So it is Halloween. It is actually Halloween, so we should really put on one of probably my favourite Halloween specials of all time, which is, and we'll just give you a little tiny bit of it. Here we go. So I can't put on the whole thing, obviously, because I will just get killed. But let's take you to one of my favourite clips from something that would be very familiar to a lot of you Americans, and I watched a lot of when I was a kid. So let's see if I can take you to this bit. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Here we go. It is now November 1st. Please help support my Movember campaign. I'm trying to make £1,000 to help support the reduction of male suicide. But first, before I leave, as I said, the way to try and get myself copyright struck, because that's what I do. It's what I do here on Fowl Original Show.
Pumpkin to pass you by.
Now this is Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. If you like this show, please like, share, subscribe, help support the channel on Twitch. You can follow, you can share it, all of that stuff. Thank you very much, and please join me tomorrow for Fowl Original's Newsround, where we talk about Sinead O'Connor becoming a Muslim. This has been Fowl Original. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Have yourself a great Halloween. Woo!